Hi everyone, my name's Stacy Penna. I'm with QSR International and I'm the NVivo Community Director. So thanks for joining me today. So I'm just going to go over some housekeeping with GoToWebinar. First off, if you see an orange box with a white arrow, that's how you get to the menu. So if you click on the white arrow, the menu will open and you'll see some sections that will be helpful. So one is the questions, so feel free to type in questions at any time. And then I also have a handout. It's just the PowerPoint slides I'm showing you today. So feel free to download that PDF. I'll also be doing some polls throughout just to keep it a little interactive. So you'll see those pop up and you just click on the poll itself, like which what you agree with the questions. And this is being recorded. So over the next few days, you'll get an email with the recording also. So with that, I'll get started. So again, my name's Stacy Penna. I'm the NVivo Community Director. At the end, I'll go over a little bit more about the community and how you can join. And just a little bit about QSR. We've been working with qualitative researchers and mixed methods researchers for over 30 years, and we're always trying to innovate. I actually did use NVivo for my own dissertation a few years back, and I've been with the company for over 10 years. So I'm always excited to talk to researchers and learn what they're doing. I have this up because I found this really interesting. So we work with the Scopus database, and when we did our own search through it, we found that NVivo is cited over 9,500 times or referenced in Scopus with published journal articles. And we're actually 157% over the other QDA solutions, that the number of times that were cited in publications, just to let you know that. So you can find a lot of examples out there of how people are using NVivo. Our goal is really to help you throughout the research process. So we want to help you with collecting your data. We now have integration with Office. And that comes with the new NVivo for 12 months. We also can help you transcribe with NVivo transcription, help you manage, analyze, and visualize your research with the NVivo desktop, help you collaborate with your colleagues and teams with different NVivo collaboration tools, and then help you publish with enhanced referencing and visualizations. These are all the different types of data you can use with NVivo. So it's not just text, but we do work with Word documents, PDF, but you can also bring in video, audio, images. You can work with social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We also integrate with bibliographical software, so Zotero, Mendeley, RefWorks, and EndNote. If you're using survey analysis with Qualtrics or SurveyMonkey, that we integrate with them. But if you don't have those tools, you can always export your survey into an Excel sheet and bring it into NVivo, and then we also integrate with SPSS. So before I get to the presentation part, I just like to get a sense. I'm going to do the first poll. I just like to get a sense of what version you're on with NVivo. So if you're a newer user, so you'll see the poll come up. You can just click on your choice. So NVivo R1 is the latest release that came out in March. So it's NVivo Release 1, or NVivo 12, NVivo 11, or an older version. So if you don't mind doing that, that's just helpful to me. So it looks like no one's on the latest version. We have about 79% on NVivo 12, 17% on NVivo 11, and 3% on an older version. So thank you for oh, we have 3% on the, or 6% with the new NVivo. Great, thank you for doing that. So for today's presentation, I really want to highlight how NVivo can help you explore and visualize your research, really to tell the story around your research. To create this presentation today, I am referring to Dr. Philip Adu's work, and he actually wrote a blog for us that you can find on our website. So I'm taking it really from that blog. And so he says, when you present your research, you want to ask these questions to think about how you want to present it. So, what kind of results should you present? How do you engage with the audience when presenting your findings? How would you help your audience understand and believe your findings? And so in the blog, you'll find this visual too, but he's broken this down, how, thinking about how to present your findings. So, what type of data do you have? In this case, he's using an NVivo to come up with his findings, or to analyze his data. And these are all the different ways you can sort of think about what you want to show from the software in your presentation. And then when you're telling your story with the presentation, there's three parts to that story, which are on the next slide. So he talks about the study's background. So the background of the study, the participants, and then even the researcher. So maybe you have to bring up your subjectivity in regards to the research, your data analysis process. So what are the patterns, concepts, or contexts that you're seeing within the data, and how do you want to present that? And then your main findings, so patterns across themes and relationships within your findings. So so on the right here are the different visuals that NVivo can help you with these three different parts of the presentation, and that's what I'll be showing you today. And these, I just wanted to also call out the tools in NVivo that can help you explore and visualize. So these are the lists that I'll be showing you. And that takes me to my next poll, just to learn what visuals you use. So what visualization do you use the most when you're doing your presentations? And it doesn't have to be in NVivo, just in general. What do you tend to use to show what you're seeing in your data for your presentations or reports? So far I have 20 or 19% word clouds, 3% word tree, 31% diagrams, 6% maps, and 41% charts. Great, thank you very much for doing that. Um, so now I'll go into the software and sort of, and before I do, I just want to go back here. This is what I'll be really trying to take you through the steps of the how would you present the background around your study, the data analysis process, and your main findings. So I'm in NVivo here. This is the new NVivo. So when you open it up, you come to this page. You do have an account with My NVivo. We have a short getting started video. Customer hubs on our website. It's a great resource for a lot of materials to help you work with NVivo. Of course, NVivo Academy, where you can find courses. Today I'll be using our multi-method project. This is a sample project. This has been with us for some time. It's the Down East data, but we also have other sample projects you can use, our automated insights, but we actually have three new ones. So if you click here, I'll take you to this page so you can download one for literature review, one for mixed methods, and one for surveys data. So I'd like to point that out. So I'm going to go to the sample project and open it up. And now for new users, because we know sometimes to get oriented around NVivo, people need help when they're new to it. We have this tour, so it'll take you through and show you where you import in the software, how you would organize your coding, your cases, your notes, how you would explore your data with queries, visualizations, and then where the modules are. So we have a new one, NVivo Collaboration Cloud, which is an additional product, NVivo Transcription, and then the Office integration actually comes with the new NVivo for 12 months. And then here you can see the layout. It's similar, but a little different in that the tabs, we have drop-down menus. It's just a little cleaner, a little more modern looking. Our navigation view now has 3 sections. So we have an import section that is all around the data you're collecting, an organize section on helping you organize your coding, your cases, your notes, your sets, and then explore, which helps you keep track of your queries, visuals, and reports. And then here in the center is your work area. So the first thing I want to show you when we're talking about how to present the background of the finding, the study, is I'm going to go to Explore tab and go to Maps. And I'm going to open up a mind map. Just give it a name. And it comes in. So think of this sort of as a whiteboard. So it's a way for you to sort of bring in shapes and ideas and look at them visually. Sometimes this is helpful for teams, especially when they're creating their coding structure. So in this case, I have the first shape or idea, what we're calling it, and I'm just going to call this my research question. So this might be your actual research question. And then to add ideas, I'm going to add a child here and call it theme 1. So this might be helping me create my my coding structure 2. 3, and I can organize it in different ways. Oops. Oh, I guess this come on. And again, I could change colors. You know, you have a lot of options here. But I can also, once I have this organized, I could bring this into as my coding structure. So if I go to codes here, I'm actually going to create a new folder called research themes. And I'll say I want to create the codes. And I'll put it in the folder research themes, and you'll see that that's where it's listed. So it's basically organizing my coding structure. No coding's been done yet. So that's one way you can sort of visually show what you're working on with your study. With participants, if I want to show the information about participants visually, one way is to go to case classifications here, and I can ask. So I have and before I do, I just want to explain cases. So cases are basically your units of analysis. So who or what you're studying. So in this case, they interviewed people. So those are their units of analysis. And within cases, so what's nice about a case is I can import all the data I have about a participant. So I interviewed Barbara twice. So I have both of her interviews are in this case. Or if there's other, if there's any pictures or artifacts, I could bring all that into Barbara's case. And then I could assign demographic information to Barbara's case. So that demographic information then is contained with all the sources I have around her. And to do that, I'd go to classifications. Let's open up person. So if you see, if I open up Barbara, I have all this demographic information about her too, and now that's assigned to everything in her case. So if I wanted to show that visually, one easy way is to go to cases and go to person, and it's going to show me all the people in my study and the demographic information, and I can easily, export this to a spreadsheet. So if I needed to have that as part of a presentation or a report, I can. So that's one way. Another way is to use project maps. So if I go back to Explore and go to a map and go to a project map, maybe I want to show some things visually with participants. I can add project items. So maybe I want to bring some cases in to the map itself. So in this, I'll just bring in 4 cases. And then I can add associated data to these cases. So if I wanted to include some of these relationships I could. So then I can see, how are people, is there any overlap? Oh, Barbara doesn't have any. That might tell me something, or Danielle. So so again, I could bring in codes here, folders if I want to see what data is collected around them, or attributes. So maybe I'll do that. Let me, I'm trying to think. Okay, so I'll just highlight all these and delete them just to make it easier, because I think it might be interesting to see visually the demographic information instead of the relationships. So I'll go to attributes, and maybe I want to see, are they any from the same township? Yep, so there's some there. So again, you can see how you could do some of this, or any uh, let me do another one. How about age group? Oh, they look like they're all in the same age group. Educational level. So anyway, so you can see how you can do a visual and show what your participants are, and you could export this to, you see the layout. You have choices here for the layout too, and then export it to something to put in a presentation. Another way to show information about your participants is you can also go to Explore and create a cross tab. And so in this case, you could do, I'm going to do this with codes. So I'm going to go to economy here and just bring up all the codes under economy. And I now can bring up attributes. So let's say I want to look across different age groups. The software will create this table for me so I can see what the different age groups said about different items. I can always export this table to Excel. I can also add another attribute. So maybe I want to see what's the difference between the genders and the age groups. Is there a difference? And we also always have a chart option. So this is another way to do visuals in NVivo, that if you want to export this too. So that's all around the participants and how you can sort of show how they look in your study by using visuals in NVivo. Another way to do this is, or another part of maybe the background of the study is the researcher's view on things. So maybe you need to point out the researcher's subjectivity, for example. So a lot of times people will actually use memos to keep track of that, like I know I did with my dissertation. So I'll create a new memo and just call research subjectivity, and I could sort of keep track of my thoughts on this. So one thing I do like using in memos is using a date time stamp to keep track chronologically of what I'm thinking. So maybe so this study is about environmental changes in a coastal community. So maybe I have to bring up my thoughts on the environment. Is that skewing what I'm seeing in the data at all? So yeah, so that kind of thing. So so then I could have a memo that's talking about that, and then I could actually create a concept map to visualize sort of different parts of where maybe the subjectivity is coming out. So if I go here and I go to maps again, I'll bring up a concept map. I'm not sure if I spelled that right, but go with it. And then I could drag, so I'm the researcher here, and I may want to bring in different shapes to talk about, so I might have a bias on the environment. I can add the project item, so I could go bring in that memo I just created to have it part of it too. You could create connectors here, and and so on. So again, it could be a visual. So people use concept maps to sort of tell a story visually, or maybe in your data you're finding some theories or patterns. You could also create a concept map to show that. So that was all around the the background here about study participants, researchers. So now I want to talk about how can we show visually our findings with our data analysis process, the patterns, concepts, and context. So I'll be showing you these different visuals in the software. So first off, I'm going to go show you a word frequency query. So to see some patterns in our data, one thing people tend to do pretty soon once they've collected some data is to do a word frequency query. So in this case, I'm going to do the word frequency on all my data. And I'm going to show the 100 most frequently used words. I'll run the query. You can see it's lists the words of length that count. And then I can get some visuals here. For example, I could ask software to do a word cloud, which I know people said they use. It's a pretty common visual to put in reports. And feel free to type in any questions. I'll take questions at the end, but you can type them in as we're going here too. So you can see the word cloud, the larger the word, the more often it's used in the data. We also have different choices. So I like to do this one too because it's a little bit more colorful. So you can see one of the top words is water. So it's a coastal community. So I'm curious, what are they saying about water? But before I do that, I just want to show you actually another visual, is a cluster analysis. So sometimes people like to see this, see how the words are clustered together in the data, see if there's anything that comes out from that. Let's go back to the word cloud. So if I want to see what people said about water, I can actually run a text search right from water. So I'll hover over water and go to run text search query. And so I can see all the sources that talk about water. I can click on the reference tab. And I can actually see the content. And then we have a couple other visuals that people find helpful, like a word tree. So this is showing me the 5 words before or after water, though I could make it more words if I wanted to. I could do the branches in different ways. But if I go through, I can see one thing that's standing out to me. People are talking about water quality. So what are they saying about that? I can run another text search from here. And now I can see what people are talking about water quality. And again, the word tree, this might even be a better visual for me because it's more concentrated on one topic. And again, this can always be exported to put into a report. I just want to point out too that the software has done a lot of work for me because it's now found everywhere in my documents and my resources that talk about water quality. So I can always save these results as a code. So I'm going to put under codes. Let's call it water quality. And then you'll see it come up in my code structure in a second. So you can see it's right there. So again, it's a little trick to help you with some of your coding. So also with patterns, you might want to use some of our diagrams. So if I go to diagrams, there's a few here. One is a cluster analysis. Oh, I know what I want to do. Sorry, I want to go to an interview, for example. So I'll click on Barbara's interview and go to diagrams. And I'll do, it's actually explore diagram I want to do. Explore diagram. So this is showing me based on Barbara's interview all the different parts, items in the project that are associated with that. I can make that a little smaller if I want to get rid of relationships and maybe I want to just see coding. So I can see all the codes here. I can also just, like, for example, pick one code and I can ask it to change focus. Oop. Oh. That was funny. I'm not sure what I did there. So now with just one code, I can see all. Oh, that's why I want to get rid of this. It's too busy. So I can just, in this case, see just the different files that are in this code. So again, I can export this. So again, it just helps you visualize what you're seeing in your data in different ways. Another type of diagram is a comparison diagram. So I can do it by files, codes, or cases. So I'm just going to do codes, and it allows you to compare two items. So in this case, I'm going to see what's the difference between agriculture and fishing or agriculture. Is there, anything that's linked there? So at first, I'm going to get something that's very busy, I know, but I can take out some of these links. And so let's say I want to just see actually the files coded. So I want to see, so what is this? So these are the ones that are similar. There's coding from all these sources versus these are separate for the different codes. So obviously a lot more coding was done with the fishing and aquaculture than agriculture. So why is that? So again, another visual you can export. So somebody just asked, this is showing up in a specific project. Yes, I'm in the sample project here, and so it's all in one project based on that project's data. So you have that. Also, to show concepts and context around your data analysis, I showed the text search, the word tree, and then the concept mapped. Again, I showed that already, but just to think about it in this way. Actually, I'm going to show you one that's already created. That'll probably make more sense. So this is the researchers here saying complexity of views on development. So they're seeing like a pattern. They're trying to explain how people are thinking about development in the area. So they brought in project items and created their own diagram to help explain that. And then you could export this diagram to a report or presentation. So now if I go back, I want to talk about how we can show our main findings with some of the visuals within NVivo. So patterns across themes, relationships, and we'll use these visuals to do that. So one is a matrix coding query. So if I go right here, you can compare really anything with the matrix coding query, but I'm going to select some codes to compare. So I'm going to look at the natural environment codes and compare those with what was coded with the economy to see how they intersect. And then I'll run. So you can see I get this table, and I can, I like to do the heat maps. So this might tell me some things. So, what I can actually even double click on the cells to get to see what they're saying. So right now the cells are telling me coding references, but I could ask the software to do files coded, percent on rows that were coded, is there just coding presence, and all that. And then I can export this if I want to Excel, or I could also have the chart option here where I could create a chart based on this and export it for a visual. So you can also easily make charts from really any type of source. So for example, if I go to Barbara's interview, I can visualize. I have different options. So one is chart, just, the coding in this interview. So it'll give me a chart showing all the codes and how much was coded, and you can export this to a presentation. Another chart some people like is a hierarchical chart. So if I go to visualize again, I'll ask a software to create a hierarchy chart. And again, showing me based on the coding in Barbara's interview, the top code here and the subcodes underneath it. But again, I could make this on anything and more than just one interview. And then lastly, just want to show you how you can look at relationships by using the social network analysis. So if I go to relationships here, so you can assign, in this case, it's cases or it could be codes, different relationships with each other. You create the relationship types first. And so you can see there, they have things like they grew up with or they're in this family or a member of a church, that kind of thing. And if I want to see the relationships, one way is I'm going to go to cases and I'll click on actually Maria and go to social network analysis, and I'll create an ego sociogram. So it's going to show me Maria's connections here. And so I can see she mentions this county. She's married to Daniel here, and she's a member of this church, that kind of thing. And I can always export this as a visual also. So just try to show how these different components for a presentation to talk about your study, the different visuals you can use to help with the presentation, but also to help you sort of explore your data in NVivo, and showed all these items. Just want to talk about the different ways you can collaborate with your team. So we do have Collaboration Cloud, which is an added module. It's in the Azure platform. You work with a project, and if you're on a team, it makes it a lot easier for you to share and then also merge your projects to see how people have coded. Collaboration Server helps you work on the same project at the same time, but you do need a dedicated server at your organization to install it. And then you always have the standalone option that you have to share projects with a shared drive and merge them together. Just the solution. So I talked about the integration with Office to help you collect data. We do have NVivo transcription, so you can either pay as you go or get unlimited access for a year. Manage and analyze your data with the desktop, collaborate with the different NVivo collaboration solutions, so Collaboration Cloud Server, and then we'd like you to help enhance your journey with NVivo with the user certification course, one-on-one coaching, and on-site workshops. This is just an overview of the learning journey, and you can find this on the NVivo Academy too on our website. So I'm responsible for the NVivo community, and the goal really is to help you connect with fellow researchers. This is a global network within disciplines across organizations, and it's a community of practice. To join, you can email me, or at the end, we do have a survey if you don't mind taking that quickly, and you can say, yes, I'd like to be able to join the community, and we'll send you information about it. Just some of the things that the community does. So we do these type of webinars. Our next, though, panel webinar with researchers is on June 15th. And criminal justice researchers are going to talk about how they work as a team when they're collaborating in the field. Mixed methods is in September, but I think we'll have some more in the summer too. So because of the situation we're in and so many researchers are having to collect data virtually, we had many webinars talking to experts about how they suggest doing that. So we have a remote resource center right on our website now that includes all this information. You can find that under resources to help you. We have a podcast now, so I'm excited. I've been able to interview some great researchers, and they're talking about their research and how they work, and you can really hear the passion that comes out with their work in the podcast. If you're interested in doing a podcast, you have something that, a recently published article or book, please contact me. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. It takes about an hour, and it's fun. And I also want to announce our NVivo virtual conference that's coming September 23rd. We're actually taking a call for abstracts till June 30th, and then registration will be opened in July. So go to our website. We have a tab just for the conference on our website. And that's it. So I'm going to go back with my contact information in case people have questions, but I'm now going to take questions. Before I do that though, I'm just going to do one more poll. So do you use NVivo to create visuals for reports or presentations? Yes or no? Just curious. And while you do that, I'll read through some of the questions. So about 35% yes, 65% no so far. So thank you for doing that. So some questions just overall about the software itself. So that's fine too. So how did the code get created? Okay, so so this demonstration was on visuals of NVivo, so I didn't get into the some of the introduction parts of using NVivo. But if I go here, I created this folder for research teams. I can create a code very easily by just right-clicking, create new code. I can go to create and click on code. I can give it a name. I'll just write in challenges. I can give it a description, click OK, and now that is my code. And then to code on it, I just open up my, for in this example, my interview, and go back to code, and I can read through, and where I find where I want to code to challenges, I can drag and drop and put it into the code. There's multiple ways to code, but that's one way I like doing it. So it's fairly easy to get started with coding. Did the computer create the code, or is this something that needs to be done? Yeah, so in this case, I created it, but we do have options for auto coding. So I'll just go, I'm going to highlight all my interviews and go to auto code. So I can auto code by theme or sentiment, but also in this case, I'll just do theme, go to next, and it will go through all my interviews. It's doing going through its algorithm to pick out the themes. And it's showing me the coding structure it's come up with. I can code to sentences or paragraphs, and then it'll give me some visuals. Some visuals I've already shown you will pop up. And the first visual is that hierarchical chart I showed you. So it's showing the top node and the subnodes underneath it. There's also a table which shows the top codes. And then these codes, automated codes, go into the auto-coded themes folder. So it's separate from the codes you might be creating. Just want to show you that. Do you have a PDF that goes step by step the features on Vivo? Well, what we do have, which I think is very helpful, is the help menu. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if I go to the help menu here, I can actually, find different links. If I need an introduction to NVivo, how do I import? How do I code? So we're just coding. So I go here and I'll show you. It's very helpful. So that's a good place to go. Our website also. This is the remote research center I was talking about. If you go under resources, there are a lot here. Like there are a lot of on-demand webinars going to help you get started. One is this 3-part series that short videos to show you how to get started. And then we also have our customer hub. So there's a lot there. Oh, so if you had issues with hearing this, we are going to send a recording in the next few days of the demonstration. So a code can be a phrase or a word. That's the example. But or that's up to you, sorry, as a researcher. So sometimes, yeah, you might just code one word, but it tends to be a sentence or paragraph, or what I just did with when I coded the challenge. But that's really up to you, what makes sense for you. Um, so asking to have a webinar on how to conduct interviews. So we can show you how to code the interviews. We do have, I there might be some podcasts we do, and there is some on our website, some blogs that talk about best practices for interviews, but there are generally a ton, sorry, I'm just trying to get the website. There's generally a ton of resources out there that can help you with best practices for interviews. All right, so I don't see any other questions. What I would, if you don't mind, if you have time to please take the short survey, because that just helps us know what else you might want from these webinars, and also to let me know if you want to be in the NVivo community, which I'd love to have you be part of. So thank you for your time today, and stay safe and healthy.